today's department update will be probation. Chief Miller?
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Mr. Van Wagenen, Mr. Priamos, Ron Miller, Chief Probation Officer. I want to thank you for this opportunity to recognize the over 800 probation staff as part of Pretrial Probation and Parole Supervision Week. Our mission statement serves as our guidepost, serving courts, protecting our community, and changing lives. We serve over 10,000 adults and almost 900 youth from Corona to Blythe and south to Temecula. And we are seeing successful completions of probation at 76%, but we want to see that number go much higher. I'd like to thank the fantastic staff at the Riverside County Probation Department for all they do and for the great things happening in our department. And with that, we have a short video that we want to show.
If it wasn't for the accountability of this probation department, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. I started seeing that light. It's like they give you those tools, and they start handing you those tools. You're in this ditch, and it's super scary, and you don't know how to do it on your own. And they start handing you these tools, and you start building yourself steps out of that life into a better path, into a successful path, into a normal citizen of society. Not just a normal citizen, but a productive citizen.
The first step for me was somebody else believing in me before I could believe in myself. And Officer Searles and Judge Hanson, showed me that. They believed in me when I didn't believe in myself, and I got the opportunity.
Riverside County Probation is always changing lives, and when the pandemic struck, we met the challenge. Probation officers began virtual check-ins to ensure clients were receiving the vital services they needed to successfully complete probation and rebuild their lives. We continue to help clients experiencing homelessness find housing and reunite with families. Obtain high school diplomas and GEDs. Acquire certifications that enable them to gain employment and stay employed. And overcome crippling addictions.
I was a drug addict, always locked up, always. I didn't know nothing else. That's why I thought that I never had a chance in this. But I got the chance.
I was a mess. But I knew that I didn't want it anymore. I knew that I had to change if I wanted to keep the life I had worked for. Because when I started this program, I was homeless. I was living at the Coachella Valley Rescue Mission. I had no money. I had no car. I would walk everywhere, and when I sat before Angela a year later, I had a lot more.
They believe in all of us. They don't look at us as felons. They look at us as people that deserve another chance in life. So I would like to personally say thank you for believing in us and pushing us to do our best.
Thank you.
Well, I do want to say this is rather appropriate because this is this year's Probation Services Week is a perfect time and opportunity to understand that integral role that you play and your entire team in terms of how you work around the justice system. Those of you who don't know, for decades in California, probation departments have been a central part to the state's transformation toward a more balanced, rehabilitative focus in our approach to justice-involved individuals. Probation is an alternative to incarceration. Probation staff, under the leadership of Chief Miller, while ensuring compliance and court-ordered conditions, hold people accountable, as we saw this in the video, while providing them the opportunity through critical rehabilitative services to help them succeed, and you've heard some stories there, and make our communities safer for the long term. Probation Services Week gives us an opportunity to spotlight the important role probation fills and the great work staff is doing for us. So thank you.
Madam Chair.
Did you want to say something? Yeah. Wait a minute. You've got some other...
Chief Miller. Just very quickly, I want to say thank you for the presentation. And this weekend, folks that are out in the audience, staff and I, we had a strategic planning retreat in which we also discussed probation. And Chief Miller was so kind to join us through Zoom. and obviously talked about all the efforts that are going on within probation. Now, in the last couple of years, we've been able to have a couple of conferences, one dealing with juvenile justice and the other dealing with adult justice, if you will, to try to figure out how we can improve the situations, the quality of life of our residents that may get caught up but need a second chance. And so I really appreciate the work that you do. And you mentioned a quote, Chief Miller, by John Augustus, right? Sustained moral persuasion, I think is what you said. And if you don't mind maybe getting into that a little further, what do you mean by that? But outside of that, you did discuss with us the issue of systemic racism. You did discuss with us SB 823, the Department of Juvenile Justice realignment. You did discuss with us reentry services. And what does that look like? Substance abuse counselors, education, GED, BAs, employment, housing opportunities, and many other issues that you brought up, the prison pipeline that we also need to deal with and quite frankly, fight against, in my opinion. But I just wanted to make sure that I also thanked you for the good work that you're doing, as well as for the conferences that we've had in the Coachella Valley. We've had 2 already, and people are asking for another. And so I look forward to doing that once again and figuring out how we can integrate efforts, work with our nonprofit organizations, our grassroots folks, other departments within the County of Riverside to ensure success when it comes to our folks that are reentering society. So thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Supervisor Perez. And I'll just make a comment, as you talked about John Augustus, who was the forefather of probation back in the mid-1850s. He helped over 2,000 people without any kind of playbook about how to go about that. So he really became kind of the forefather of both assessments and how to do investigations for the court. And I will, not knowing John Augustus personally, but I will tell you he did a great job with engaging people. And we're in the people business. And when he talked about sustained moral persuasion, it's really about stepping into that space of other people and getting to know them and understanding where they're at. Then how do you have conversations that help them change that lens so that they can see a way out of poverty, so they can see a way out of the circumstances that they're in and move to that better place? And so probation plays that unique role in those 10,000 people out of 2.5 million residents in Riverside County. How do we step into that space and help these 10,000 people to move forward? And I believe it's that level of engagement, it's that building that community, it's that collaborative effort, both with our county partners and our CBOs to make that happen. So I'm grateful for that opportunity to do that presentation. Thank you.